Put on your Sunday clothes, there's lots of world out there. Get out the brilliantine and dime cigars. We're gonna find adventure in the evening air. Girls in white in a perfume night with a...
Hello everyone and welcome to my review of WALL-E, the Pixar film released in 2008. And before I go on, I want to dedicate this review to a good friend and subscriber of mine, Alan Kalo, as this is his favourite Pixar film. So, WALL-E, the basic plot of WALL-E is that it's set like 700 years or so in the future. There's this one sort of robot called WALL-E, and his job is to basically clean up the Earth. He's the only living thing left down on the Earth, and he's sort of cleaning up the Earth. The Earth has become a polluted mess. The humans have evacuated, and then he comes across this Eve unit who comes down to recover this plant, and then she meets WALL-E, and they both head back onto the spaceship called the Axiom to deliver the plant to the captain, which will then set the course for the humans to return back to Earth. Along the way, WALL-E and Eve fall in love, and the autopilot tries to take control of the ship and violate the Prime Directive, which is obviously to send the Earth, with the plant returned, to send the Earth back, to send them back home. And we discover that the humans have become grotesquely overweight and are basically being pampered by robots and whatnot. They're living a life of luxury on the Axiom, and yeah, and it's all, as I said, it's also a love story between WALL-E and Eve, and yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the basic plot of WALL-E. Sorry if I didn't explain it very well. I tried my best, but it's quite an interesting plot. So, WALL-E. Now, I think this is one of those films that, as a kid, you probably won't fully appreciate. You might enjoy the fun adventure aspect of it, but in a similar sense to Inside Out, but you won't appreciate what the film's actually about until you're older, and that has been the case with me. When I first saw WALL-E in the cinemas, I was about, 11, and I didn't have a full concept of what the plot was actually about. I kind of didn't really like it at first, but I feel very bad about that. But over the years, this film has really grown on me, and I really understand and appreciate it for its merit. I can totally see why this is Alan Kalo's favourite Pixar film. WALL-E is a wonderful film. It's absolutely magnificent. It's definitely one of the crowning jewels of the Pixar films, and they've really, the folks of Pixar really did a great job. I mean, the previous two films that came before this, Cars and Ratatouille, weren't particularly among the most popular of the Pixar films, and Pixar were heading a little bit in a sloppy direction, so they had to really pick themselves up. And I think WALL-E is definitely a step up, and it's a great film. It really is. What I like really is the story. The story is just so brilliant because it's very intelligent, very thought-provoking. It's basically a wake-up call for the rest of the world to say, look guys, we need to sort our shit out. The Earth is in trouble. If we don't want to end up like this, you know, if we keep things sustainable, then, you know, we can carry on. But if we keep polluting the Earth, this is what's going to happen. And it raises that point so well, and as a kid, obviously, the kids won't understand it, but as an adult now, you really sort of, you grow to realise the importance of the Earth after watching this film. It really puts things in perspective, and it's told beautifully. It's told beautifully well, and yeah, So I mean, the film, we have characters who are in the film who don't particularly say much, like WALL-E and Eve. They're not among the most talkative characters here, as they're both robots. But WALL-E is a wonderful character. He's just very funny, very charming, and very, very brave. The lengths he goes to for Eve. I mean, he falls in love with Eve straight away as soon as he sees her. As soon as he sees her when she lands. It takes her a little while longer to fall in love with him, but their relationship is very, very strong, and you don't even need dialogue. You don't even need dialogue. I used to find the voices a bit annoying, but I think they're fantastic. That, you know, it's basically just the names. You know, WALL-E or Eva, as he calls her. And you know, we have that beautiful scene when they're flying around in space with the fire extinguisher. My goodness, that is a powerful scene. That is really sweet. It's just really sweet. That it kind of reminds me of their short films, that they don't often have dialogue to tell the story, and I think this, I mean, there is dialogue here, but mainly from the human cast. The main two characters, WALL-E and Eve, they're brilliant, and Eve is a stubborn person, but she grows to love WALL-E, and I think it's very sweet. You know, it's very sweet, their relationship, and you know, the lengths they go to for each other are just tremendous, and they're both, you know, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. We also have Mo. Mo. He's the little robot that has to keep cleaning up WALL-E's track marks on the ship. He's quite funny. We've got a few other robots here and there. There's not many characters. The only other characters I can really talk about are the captain of the ship. He's good. He actually looks a bit like somebody I know, funny enough. He looks like somebody I work with. I don't think he'll be happy hearing me say that, but yeah, well. He's very good, and I particularly love his stand at the end against the autopilot, when he tricks him that he has the plant, and he stands up and confronts him, and everybody's watching on the screen. All of the humans are seeing their captain stand up to the autopilot, and yeah, I mean, when your captain does that, mate finally gets off his arse and actually does something. He makes a stand. That's when you realise how low the humans have been sinking. I mean, I mean, it's quite interesting seeing the humans, how they have evolved, essentially, because they've all become overweight. There isn't one human that is remotely thin in this. I suppose the babies, really, but even then, you know, babies are generally quite chubby when they're born. So, but I really like the captain. I think he's a great character, and he's definitely a worthy captain. And the autopilot in himself as a character, which is great. And I mean, it really, they needed some kind of nemesis, and that was really the only nemesis they could think of, and it works. It works really well. And you've also got Sigourney Weaver voicing the computer of the ship. Caution, rogue robots. She's very funny, and it was interesting because I watched Finding Dory recently, and they brought back Sigourney Weaver to voice the announcer at the Sea Life Centre that they go to for Finding Dory. But yeah, she's really good here. As I said, the film's beautifully told. It's visually stunning, like all of the stuff in space. I mean, because this is in like a sci-fi universe, so all of the stuff in space and everything looks really, really good. And as I said, that fire extinguisher scene is beautiful. There's a lot of like sort of peril. There's genuine action and tension, and that works. Like there's a lot of chase sequences, and the part in the escape pod is quite intense. And the comedy's good. I did laugh quite a bit at it. I thought Mo was really funny. Yeah, and you get those two humans called John and Mary. John, funnily enough, voiced by John Ratzenberger. He's actually an actor that voices somebody in every Pixar film. He's not. He's sometimes a bigger part than. Sometimes his parts range from big to small. Sorry, his main role was Ham in the Toy Story trilogy, but he has in every other Pixar film he's always played a role, and in this one he plays the man named John, and who sort of gets together with the female Mary, and you see as they're watching WALL-E and Eve in the fire extinguisher, you see those two sort of connect. So it's really like kind of like the mirror image of that, but obviously not developed hugely. And I like sort of the whole commercial aspect of the film, like the by and large stuff. It's like this whole axiom thing. It's all been a corporate thing, just because essentially the humans aren't living in a real world. They're living in a corporate world. They're living in a fantasy world, and I thought that was a very intelligent idea. That's certainly what I got from it. I mean, and seeing the Earth depicted in this film was very interesting. I mean, the first half an hour to 40 minutes are just on Earth, which I thought was surprising, longer than I remembered actually. We just see WALL-E on his own, well, with his cricket, cleaning up the Earth, and it's really weird. Like the Earth has become, it's got this sort of sepia tone kind of look to it. It's very, very interesting, and I think this is a good example of how not to treat the Earth. I mean, people go on a lot. It's probably, if you want any eco-friendly campaigns, this is the best. This is the best eco-friendly campaign I've ever seen. It's like, be nice to the Earth and it will be nice to you. That's essentially what the message is of this film, and also that you can find love in the most unlikely places. So I give it that as well. But yeah, it's ultimately about how we treat ourselves and how we treat the world we live in, and Pixar, they have knocked themselves out of the park with this. This is just phenomenal, and there's some very poignant moments as well, like particularly when WALL-E's looking at the TV screen and he's watching that musical. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but and then he does the hand thing, and they do the same thing with Eve at the very end. So it is like the mirror image, like that. And like I said, the relationship between the two robots is very sweet, and the way they sort of come together is fantastic. It's really, really good. So overall, I think this film is really good. It has a lot going for it. It's very intelligent, action-packed. It has a great love story, and the comedy's great. It's really cute as well. The robots are quite cute, and the animation is absolutely stunning. I mean, I watched this on Blu-ray, and this was released in 2008. It looks like it could have been released yesterday. It's that good. So yeah, overall, I love WALL-E. I think it's a great film. I'm gonna rate this one an easy 10 out of 10.
Put on your Sunday clothes, there's lots of world out there. Get out the brilliant teen and dime cigars. We're gonna find adventure in the evening air. Girls in white in a perfume night with a...
And the music is great too. Not just the soundtrack itself, but the use of songs and everything. Yeah, I love WALL-E. It's great. So that's it. That's all I have to say about WALL-E. Tune in next time when I review another Pixar film. It's not going to be up. I'm not doing them in order, so I'm doing a different one. But I'll decide which one to do. So, thank you guys all for watching, and as always, I'm Mr. TARDIS11. See ya.